Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another build video. Today I'm going to be showing you my Verso build for Act 3. Now this is an endgame build and this is an evolution of my Act 2 build. If you haven't watched that video already, I would recommend go ahead and watch that if you want to understand how mechanically this build works. So I'll leave the link in the description. This is an evolution. As I said, it's a free aim basic attack build. Your goal in this build is to apply as many burn stacks as possible. As you see, I've already got 54 burn stacks on the enemy, and then I go all the way up to 104 burn stacks, and the enemy takes so much damage when it's their turn. They just die. You just delete them. So yeah, that's the basic premise of this build. We'll go more into Pictos and Luminas and stats and weapons and all that stuff, and I'll explain why I use each of those, and hopefully it'll make it very clear. Alright, so let's start with the attributes. These are my stats at level 90, so you want to have max amount of luck and agility, and then you want to put some points, about 30-ish, into vitality because your weapon scales off with vitality. You can ignore might, it doesn't really do much for your weapon at this point. And about 30 to 40 on defense, because defense will give you a decent amount of, well, defense and also a little bit of luck as well. Next up, our weapon. So for this build, we're using the Corpso. This is an amazing weapon that makes this build work so well. So what it does is it's level 4 skill. Its base attack applies 2 burn stack per rank, and its level 20 skill increases burn damage by 50% per rank up to 300% on rank S. This is how we're able to apply massive amounts of burn stacks on enemies and having them take so much damage. And as a side bonus, you also get extra AP, plus 1 AP each time you rank up. So yeah, this weapon is perfect for such a setup. Alright, next up, let's take a look at our Luminas. We sort them out by active. So these are the Luminas that I currently use. You can have a screenshot if you want. Now this is an evolution of my Act 2 build. The mechanics are the same. If you want to know how this works, I explained that in my previous Act 2 build. So I'm going to go through this real quick. So augmented aim, 50% increased free aim damage. Very easy. Augmented attack, 50% increased base attack damage. Your build revolves around using basic attack, so 50% increased base attack damage is a very easy decision. Now I've got base shield. It is a +1 shield if not affected by any shield on turn start. So you're gonna get at least 1 shield on every turn. This is not only a good defensive option, but also lets us do extra damage. You'll see in a bit. Next up, burning mark. Apply burn on hitting a marked enemy. You're going to be applying a lot of marks, and applying burn on hitting a marked enemy, more burn stacks is more damage. It's always good. Burn affinity, 25% increased damage on burning targets. Super easy way to get an amazing 25% increased damage. This is a very easy Picto to have. It's only 10 points. I highly recommend it. So you're going to be applying burn almost all the time. So yeah. Breaking shots, it's only 1 point. You don't really need this. So burning shots, 20% chance to burn on a free aim shots. You want to apply burn as much as possible on free aim shots. I mean, it's not necessary, but it's very nice to have to apply more burn stacks. You're going to be using applying burn stacks with your weapon anyway. Cheater, essential. You need your 2 turns. Clair's life. You don't really need this, but this is an amazing Picto to have. If you haven't cleared the flying manor, I highly recommend you clear it. This is the reason we don't have any healing Pictos, because of cheater you get 2 turns. So by your second turn you're going to be healed completely regardless because of Clair's life. So what it does is on turn start, if you haven't taken any damage, which you won't because you're going second time because of cheater, you're going to recover all your health. So very good pick to have. Dead energy, plus 3 AP on killing an enemy is good for random encounters. Very nice one. Combo attack 1 and 2. with this, if you have more Lumina points available, I also recommend Combo Attack 3. I think it costs 30 more. So I definitely recommend that. You're going to be doing more basic attacks, so that means even more burn stacks, which means even more damage. But I felt at this point I didn't need the third one, but you know, if you have the points, go for it. So this will give your basic attack 1 extra hit. Amazing, amazing. Defensive mode, on receiving damage, consume 1 AP to take 30% less damage if possible. Now, this is a very good defensive Picto with just 1 cost. Here's the thing, you're always going to have 9 AP when you finish your turn. Because of our setup, you always finish your turn with a basic attack. And since you have combo attack 1, 2, and that's 2 extra hits plus 1 extra hit from your regular basic attack, you do 3 hits. So with our setup, each basic attack hit gives us 3 AP. So you're going to have 9 AP at the end of your turn. That means for 9 hits, you can tank 9 hits with 30% less damage, plus actually 10 because you have 1 shield. So yeah, this is an amazing, amazing Picto to have. And now, even if you take a lot of hits, at the end of your, like when it's your turn, you're going to be healed full anyway because of Clair's life. So you don't have to worry about healing. All right, next up, Dodger. Just 1 point. You don't need me to explain what this is. Double burn, applying a burn stack, apply a second one. Now, this is the reason why we have so many burn stacks on enemy. I highly recommend you use this. Energy Master, every AP gain is increased by 1. This is the reason you're going to have so much AP. You're going to keep hitting basic attacks and, sorry, not basic attacks, free aim shots over and over again. Energizing attack, plus 1 AP on base attack. As I said, you're going to have 3 hits, so you're going to gain a lot of AP. Combine that with Energy Master, you're always going to have 9 AP whenever you do a basic attack. Draining Cleanse, I very much like this Picto because towards the end game, you're going to have bosses and enemies that use a lot of status effects, blight, slow, inverted, what have you. This will consume 1 AP and prevent that status effect. Amazing Picto to have. I recommend this on every character. Exposing attack. Base attack applies defenseless for 1 turn. Amazing. Defenseless makes the enemy take extra damage. I think it's 25%. Correct me if I'm wrong. First strike, you always want to go first regardless. Full strength, 25% increased damage on full health. So let's say, you know, if it's your turn first, you're going to be doing 25% increased damage. And if you're not on full health, on your second turn, you're going to be healed completely by Clair's life. So on second turn, you're still going to do 25% increased damage. Very easy decision. Painted Power, you need this. Marking shots, you want to apply mark with the shots. Longer burn is nice. It's not really needed. I have this from my Luminas, or Pictos rather, sorry. You don't need this, but yeah, it's nice to have. Powerful mark, gain powerful on hitting a marked enemy. You're going to be applying mark quite often because the amount of times you do free aim shots, you are almost always going to apply a marked on the enemy. And then you're going to gain powerful when you hit a marked enemy. Powerful shield, 10% increased damage per shield point on self. You will always have at least one shield point at your turn starts. And then if you use In Medias Res, I should probably have that at some point. I think I'm going to have that. I do recommend In Medias Res as well, if that's how you pronounce it. That'll give you 3 extra shield points. Where is it? Oh, this one. So plus 3 shields on battle start, but max health is halved. You will recover your health anyway on turn 2, so I really recommend this. I just don't have the points at the moment. Oh, so yeah, I do recommend this as well. So anyway, with Powerful Shield, you're going to get 10% increased damage per shield point. So that's very, very, very useful. Powerful Shots, 20% chance to gain Powerful. Very nice one. Shield Affinity, 30% increased damage while having shields, but receiving any damage removes all shields. That's fine. If you have at least 1 shield point on turn start, which you will have 30% increased damage. Very good. Rewarding Mark, plus 2 AP on dealing damage to a marked target. Very cool. Solo fighter, it's just 1 point. I like to have it. Staggering attack, 50% increased base damage. It's just 1 point. You don't need it. We're not focusing on breaking enemies for this build, unlike my Act 2 setup. So it's just 1 point, so I have it. Teamwork, 10% increased damage while all allies are alive. Very nice one to have. And warming up, 5% increased damage per turn, can stack up to 5 times. So by turn 5, you're going to be doing 25% extra damage. Very nice one to have. All right, so for our Pictos, now honestly, as I said before, if you watch my other build videos, I use Pictos not for the abilities, but to cover up the lack of stats. So what I'm looking at is to fill up, to get a very high critical rate as possible, and then maybe get some health and defense. So I use Quick Break because it gives me 36% critical rate. So my ultimate critical rate is, overall critical rate is about 87%, which is great. Energy Master, now this gives me a lot of health, almost 5,000. So I have this. Also, Energy Master costs 40 points to activate, so might as well use this. Longer Burn, this gives me a lot of health and defense, so why not? So with this setup, I have about 10,000 health, 1,766 defense, and about 87% critical rate. Really, really good setup. Next up, we've got abilities. You can use whatever skills you like. It doesn't really matter. This build doesn't really use any skills. However, I do recommend at least one skill that can break enemies if you're playing in a party, or you could also have some support abilities if you wish. But other than that, use whatever you wish for your skills. So there you have it, folks, my Verso build for endgame. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you can. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer as much as I can. And if you have any suggestions or improvements, feel free to leave a comment as well, and I will pin for everyone else to see if you have a very useful tip. Until then, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.